Alrighty, so this is a treat. This is a treat because I've had the blessing to write about, Billie Essco, write about First Class, write about Chewy V, write about Cooley High, write about a lot of West Side Gun, Griselda, about a lot of the artists and the collectives that were really integral in ushering in this new generation of hip hop in Buffalo. So the exciting part is that as someone, as I said, like as kind of an outsider coming in that has really embraced the hip hop community in the last couple of years, it's exciting to get to learn more about you. So this is a treat for me too.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
Yeah,
that. This is
yeah,
dope. This is
yeah,
dope. My
yeah.
boy Mike.
So I usually start by asking the artist like what their origin story is. But for you, because so many people know you, I kind of want to go from right now to backwards.
Okay.
So I first want to ask, because for a lot of people, you are an enigma. You're like kind of an integration of culture, fashion, art, but there's also this kind of mystique around you as well. Even like the Where in the World is Billie Essco, it kind of has that mystique vibe. So I kind of want to get from you like how you define yourself and what do you see yourself as a representation of what's happening. Where do you fit into that? How do you see yourself?
I feel you. That's a good question. I often wonder how do people view me? Because for one, a lot of people know me. Like I'm looking around. I got my sister, my mom, nieces. I got my homies from different periods of my life. So it's interesting to see like how people know me. Because I mean, you got the fashion aspect. I mean, even my teacher, Erin, is here. Like she's one of the
Shout
reasons
out
why.
Erin
Shout out,
Hayes.
no, for real. Like she showed me that it was possible to take it outside of Buffalo with fashion. You know what I mean? And then still come back here. So I often find it interesting what people think. I think for me, I'm always trying to grow as a person. I feel like no matter what, I'm trying to be a better person. And through that, I search through it through my art. And I'm just figuring it out along the road, but it's just so happened I'm like good at what I do. Thank God. Shout out my mom. You feel me?
Yeah,
Genetics, whatever. I'm blessed to be able to like put out great art while I'm figuring everything out. So yeah, man, I'm everywhere in the world and I'm here all at once. You feel me? That's biz. If you know me, I'm biz. I'm busy. So that's like my lifestyle. That's really me. Like my name is who I am and how I move.
You got a lot of names too.
That's
Well,
a
let's
fact.
talk about it because you got a lot of names. So
That's a
first you
fact.
went by Chase De Niro, right?
Take
Yeah.
it back to Busy B.
Oh, okay. Because
I
you
had
got
way more,
educate me, please.
Man, this has been Busy B, Busy
Okay.
F Baby. We had Busy the Great. Then we moved to Chase De Niro. So Chase De Niro is when First Class really came about.
Got you. Okay.
That was like 2011. I had to take things a little more serious. So I'm like, let me go Chase De Niro. And then that started getting like, I don't want to say corny, but just like chasing De Niro, just that my mindset changed. So it was like, it's bigger than that. So I kept it Chase because at that time, like people were just calling me Chase. Like to this day,
Yeah.
I guarantee you there's people in here that think my name is Chase. My real name is not Chase. I'm not telling you my real name, but my real name is not Chase either. It's just another alias. But it went from names to just eras of my life.
I was just about to say
Yeah, it's just like a representation of where I was at. So like Billie Essco is when I started getting knowledge of self. And that's really like who I am, like who I really want to be. Like I don't want to be known just like Chase De Niro. That sounds like rapperish. And there's nothing wrong with that because that's our culture, but I wanted to just show myself in more than just that. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's why all the names is there. They represent something.
Yeah, you said eras too, and I felt like that even with each name, there's a certain era, there's a certain time that you can pinpoint it, so you can
Facts.
really see the progression.
Facts.
Another thing too, I remember, I think my first interview, I think it was like back in 2019 maybe or 2018,
Yeah.
and we talked about names, and you said, Uptown Chase, it's such an ambiguous name,
Yes,
so
sir.
people can't like create reservations off of that name.
Yeah, that's a fact.
know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a fact. And I mean, it's just representative of like where I'm from, like I hold Buffalo proud to me, but also just where I come from in Buffalo. Like I come from the east side part of Buffalo. Now I got friends and family from all over Buffalo and all over the world, but like, you know, I go to my friends in New York and like, you know, they think that's the mecca of everything. So I'm telling them from uptown, they like, you know, so it's just a representation of where we come from. It's a certain way, like, me and my best friend Mitch, like we from two different sides of town, and we kind of moved that way. You know what I mean? So you growing up in Buffalo, you knew where a person was, you know, geographically by the way they moved. So I carry Uptown with me wherever I go.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, you can see that.
Shout out to the Uptown.
So where does Billie Essco fit in that then? Is that like the most recent iteration of you and your progression?
Billie Essco started, well, I mean, the name came in 2012, and that was really when I just got knowledge of self. But it was also like Skis was transitioning away from music more into family at the time. You know, he had just had his daughter. So me and Mitch was rocking. At first, Billie Essco was going to be on some like, I was like a group name. But then it was just like, I need a name. Like Chase De Niro wasn't. Yeah. And I ain't think I could just run with Chase. You know, just Chase. Now I'm thinking back, I'm like, could have Draked it, just Chase. You feel me? But Billie Essco is really just the musical representation of my lifestyle. Like I got many iterations. Billie Essco just encompasses me sonically, like how it sounds. And I mean, even the name, when you hear Billie Essco, it gives you a certain, like it's a little different than any other name when you say he makes music or he raps. So Billie Essco is just, like I said, it's the musical iteration of who I am as a person. Yeah. Facts.
Yeah. So like I said, I kind of want to start from now and then go back. So we have Where in the World is Billie Essco that just came out. You're going to be performing some of the songs.
Yes, sir. Where in the World is Billie Essco out now. Can we get some noise for that one time, please? Woo! Thanks.
Yeah. So that came out May, 12 songs, 40 minutes. Yep. It seems like a very, almost like a cathartic, like there's like, it was kind of just like, almost like a mood board, but in sonic form. Yeah. That's what it feels like.
So there's another part, which is coming at the end of the summer. And it basically is like a 2-part tale. So the question is, where in the world is Billie Essco? Where am I at? So I either really be in the world or I'll be here. But when I'm here, I'll be in my mind a lot. So the first one represents that catharticness, that moving around different cities, different places. I'm in LA one day, then I'm supposed to go home. I extend my flight. Next thing you know, I end up in Cabo for 2 days. Then I go to Miami, and it's just that representation of like being in the world, but being myself and learning about myself in the world. Because it's like a mirror every time I, move. Yeah. So I'm getting to see how I am in Miami. Like, what do you do when you stressed out in Miami? Or like, what do you do when like, you feel me, some shit goes wrong in the middle of Los Angeles? Like, it's different than being home. So that's what that was. And the second part would be more about how I am when I'm home and what I'm thinking about now and where I'm trying to go and kind of answering the questions that people been kind of asking me without asking me type shit or wanting to know, It's kind of like that security blanket is removed from you. You got to kind of figure it out, like figure out what's going on, and like it almost makes you stronger because now I'm able to be successful and move how I want in a totally different place. That just like, it's another notch on your belt. Like, man, I'm capable. I can do this. That's a fact. Yeah. That's what the Buffalo kids started with, was just that acknowledgement of like, bro, I'm from Buffalo. Like, regardless of like what people may think, like I come from a city, a real city. Yeah. You feel me? With real people. And learning how to move through this city taught me how to be a star and everywhere else. So now when I go to places, they looking at me like, who is this? And I'm like, I learned this from being here. And that's what I try to articulate to people. Like, we so much different because like, don't nobody know what we doing. Now they do. But that interest is real because we some people that they never thought would, they think it's cows and shit here. You feel me? Like,
Or it's cold.
Yeah,
all
I mean
the time,
it is
year
cold.
round.
It is
I
cold.
mean it is cold, but
It is cold. They drag it sometimes.
we outside right now.
Yeah, we outside.
Where we at?
Yeah, they-
Outside. So okay. So we working with something. We working with something.
Definitely, we outside. We definitely outside.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
vibe.
So it's the resilience. It's the resilience
exactly.
for me.
Exactly, man.
Yeah. So we're in the world of Billie Essco. There's a lot of dope songs on there. I wanted to ask you, what is a song that sticks out for you?
I don't know. I think on this project, I don't know. I think this project was more free because it wasn't like a. Usually, all my projects is a real plan or it's based off one emotion. Like I'm trying to get through this emotion through this project, or it's like a plan. Like I know what these songs are going to be. I'm trying to do this, that. So like Gallery or like Cafe was like that, but Aesthetic Raps was like a feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that was just like moving off impulse. So so I think like Chocolate is a fire song. I think like Mulberry. I think more importantly, I would implore people to listen to this album when they just doing random stuff because it's like it's I put soundscapes in like the background.
It's a soundtrack.
Yeah, like there's like sounds of the ocean in one track. And then in this one track, it sounds like you in like a Miami bar. Like I went when I was in Miami. I took my voice memo out and I recorded the sound effects of it just being in the restaurant. And I put that on there. So little things like that. That's like what I'm more like. I want people to see that, like, or listen to that and hear that and really feel how I feel when I'm out in these places. So
sharing
like
those moments, those little time capsules.
Exactly.
So speaking of that, I want to go back to the album previous than that, God Body.
Yes,
shout out to Skis.
Shout out to
that.
Jay Skis.
Now,
shout out to Jay Skis.
Yeah, shout out to Jay Skis, man. You two together is like it's exciting.
I mean, that's how I started. That's how I started. So that's my. At the end of the day, like I always said, like Skis was the rapper. Like I was like the number 2. You feel me? I grew into this space, but like Skis was always like this since we was 12 years old. Skis always rapped, and I always followed him. You know what I mean? So God Body came. I mean, it came from a place where it was like it was a harsh time. Losing one of our best friends, Weez. So like that honestly made it difficult, but at the same time, we was already working on music. So that just made it a little easier to like finish the tape. But again, like it's more behind the music with that. With even just the name, like God Body wasn't just like a name we was trying to slap on, like just for cool, sound. It was like trying to live better, like in all aspects of the word. Like no matter what, if you see me as a person, understand like I'm trying to grow. Like I'm trying to be a better person to myself, to my family, to my peers. And it take a lot to do that. So, just having that mentality, that God body mentality, we all can carry that and we can help each other. So, yeah, man, that project was special to us, man. We got a lot of, in store for that as well coming soon. Yeah,
it definitely feels like an honorarium. Shout out to Weez, everything for Weez.
You feel me? Everything for Weez. My boy Mitcher is on to produce that joint. OG Soul was on there going crazy. Shout out, and that was like one of the first takes, first class really made music in this like now. You know what I mean? Because the homies is real dads, like real family men, like real people. So it's like it took time, but no rush. Like when you hear all this music, like it's timeless. Like all this music you might not hear today, but you could play 2 years later and it's gonna hit just like a new song. So yeah, man.
It definitely has that timeless feel for sure. Facts. So speaking of that, you talk about family. Now, I got to, again, I wasn't there, but I've learned from bits and pieces, we got to talk about Ocho.
Of course.
We got to talk about it. So,
is anybody, okay, there we go. My gang. When you throw
shout out OJ.
When you see them foes, man, that's Ocho. Yeah. Can we get some noise for Ocho one time? Just a little bit of noise?
Oh, no.
Thank you. Some of y'all been here. Some of y'all was here before y'all had kids and shit. Like, Ocho is like a real time period in Buffalo.
So for people that don't know what Ocho is, Ocho was basically this home that you guys lived in, but it was also like a creative hub, and y'all had a lot of parties, shindigs, get-togethers there. But it was cool because it became this place for you guys to make music. Jay Skis made music there, you know, there was a lot of integral moments in his career there. So, and a lot of people connected. It was a socialite club.
Yeah.
It was a lot of things. And what time era was this?
This
Just
was
to give people an idea.
2009, 2010. That was the house that we had, which is crazy because like I got homies that was like 13 when that shit was there.
Wow,
and
wow.
You feel me? But not there, but just they were at that time period.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Ocho was just, it came a point where like my homies got out of college, out of high school, first crib, you know, away from the parents.
Yeah.
And there's 4 of them in the spot.
Y'all was wild?
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
We like, and the thing about it was, I appreciate that because we did this in a time where there was no social media. Like there was Twitter. Like you might find wild tweets, but that was it. It was like because we was able to have fun. Yeah. Just to have fun. Like it wasn't a trend. It wasn't a theme and shit. So shout out to Ocho, man. That made me the man I am today.
Yeah,
you feel
I
me?
heard y'all went trending too, like when Twitter first started.
Oh yeah, no, we went trending
for a
every
minute.
week. Yo, every week.
That's mad fire.
No, I mean it's funny because it's just a house, but we would go trending because somebody's girlfriend got mad and aired us out. But then we would go trending because Skis would drop a song and it'd be #1 in Western New York, and then somebody would hack somebody Twitter, say some wild shit, and then that trend. So it was just like we were doing things not knowing.
Yeah.
It's
called balance, you know, spectrum,
yeah,
you know,
man,
a little professionalism, a little ratchetry, you know, balances it out, gives a little character, you know what I mean?
That's what my life is. And if Billie Essco can teach you one thing, it's just balancing life.
Yeah. Do you feel like at that time at Ocho is when First Class really formed?
Yes, it started like maybe 2 years before that, like in ideal form, but the music came into fruition more potently there because we were doing shit at my mom's crib. Like I had a studio at my mom's crib for the longest. We was doing shit at my cousin Camouflage Monk crib. But Ocho gave us an opportunity to do this shit all night long for as loud as we wanted. And we was able to like put it in a focus group with our friends, and our friends come in the room and tell us, nah, that's trash, or this is fire. Like, play this again. And so it helped us like hone our skills, you feel me? And I'm not gonna lie, like a lot of women helped Ocho because it was like we were able to just like not be like jocks in the crib. Like we had real women energy to like feed off of where it's like, no, you can't do that. Or this is fire. Yeah. Do more of this. So like it was a good melting pot.
Yeah. Shout out to that too.
Yeah.
This is just like my little thing. But if you are an artist, you have to have like a woman in your camp that will keep it 100 with you about your music.
To. Shout out to Wiz, shout out to Laura,
I tell you, you will always win.
Gabby.
You'll always win.
Like what?
Yeah.
Like, man, listen, even my niece, I ain't gonna keep it a buck. Like, straight up. They know it's
That's just my little thing there.
No, women rule the world.
But anyway, back to the conversation. So, who consists of First Class? Just to kind of give the audience an idea if they're learning who Billie Essco. Who is First Class?
Well, I mean, the music part, it starts with me, Mitch, Arizona, which is over there. OG Soul, it's right there. Jay Skis, Camouflage Monk, and then we got Grape Juice, which is like the co-founder. My cousin Kanye, he started it with me. He the one that came up with the name and everything. And then his affiliates, Pots, MDO, Ease, Weeze, Lad, Juice, Skeet, like it's a bunch of us.
You guys are like a low key, like a secret society.
We really out here, man. We real men in the community. My homies work for the city, couple of firefighters, you feel me? Like we really do this. So we like the Justice League. You feel me? For the hood.
Yeah, dope. So now I want to get back to the music, and I also want to actually before I get back to because I want to talk about Escargot for sure, but I want to talk about the fashion and how the fashion aspect came in because it seems like that was a huge part of Ocho as well. So
at Ocho we was just fly. Like we just grew up in an era where you gotta dress well. You gotta just dress well. So the fashion always been there. Then I went to Buffalo State College for fashion design. So I was able to study it. And at the time, like, I ain't really pay no attention to me being in a fashion program. But, like, shout out to Aaron, because they showed me, like, the realism in fashion. Like, I'm a black kid from Eastside Buffalo. There was no fashion there at all. So we had to not only find it and create our own stuff, but then going to school and trying to do fashion shows, and they looking at you like streetwear not real fashion. Or like what you doing not like considered like designer. You know what I mean? I had to break through boundaries, and I didn't even know I was doing that until later when I seen other people come through and I seen things change. So like fashion helps a lot because I articulate myself through my style. Everybody like to get dressed. I mean, some people don't, but I like to be fly. You feel I get it from my parents. So clothes will always fashion. You know, clothes getting fly is one thing. Fashion is the knowledge of it. Like a lot of people don't understand fashion, but that because it's like understanding like jazz. Like some people can hear jazz, but do you understand jazz? So it's the same way. Like you might see fashion, you might wear clothes. We all seen Balenciaga and all this other stuff, but to understand it is a different language, and that's why in my music I try to talk so detailed about it so people can understand like my interests. That's all. You know what I mean? So,
the beautiful thing is that through your music, you've been able to share who you are, share your knowledge of what you love, which is fashion, music, culture, and also intertwine the two. Like, I mean, what you have created with Cafe and who helps you with Cafe as well is amazing, because it really, as soon as you see it, you know, Buffalo. This is Buffalo. And it's a stylistic approach to what Buffalo is, and that's the beautiful part about it. So we're going to lightly touch on Escargot because we want to wrap this up. But Escargot to me is like the perfect encapsulation of your fashion, including the culture, and your music and your sound. How was that? I feel like that project like stamps. This is Billie Essco. This is Uptown Chick. This is this person and what they do.
That shit. So if anybody hasn't heard Escargot, we actually got vinyls for sale in the back. But I implore y'all all to go listen to that. That is what you call a fucking masterpiece. I ain't even gonna lie. I don't toot my own horn, but that shit is amazing. And I mean, man, all by the graces of God, I was able to go to Paris. And I went to Paris for Fashion Week, and it changed my life. Like, I've been planning to go, but that opportunity to go out there, really, I did a show, and I took that show money that I made. Shout out to the people that support me, because that all went into that. You feel me? And I was able to go out there, and then once I got there, I met up with West Side Gun, and man, we proceeded to just make history. Shout out, rest in peace, Virgil.
Rest in peace.
He was an integral part of us being in Paris. I went on a whim of myself and faith, but once I got out there, they already had it set up. So Virgil kind of had us taken care of. So we was able to go to the Off-White show, Louis Vuitton show.
Nice.
We was able to see all these brands and these designers up close in person, and like we was the center of attention. Like everywhere we went.
I saw you. They had you.
Vogue.
They had you everywhere.
I was in Vogue with a blunt in my mouth. I'm like, this is the most ignorant shit ever in life. Like I'm walking down trying to find a lighter with the blunt in my mouth, but it's like, this is Buffalo. You feel me? I got on a Caesar piece me and Tris made. You feel me? And then I got on a Carhartt Scully with a blazer on, and I'm at the Louis Vuitton show. You know what I mean? Like, real shit that we've been in my room, me and my boy Mike, like sitting there talking about shit like in the room, like, man, I can't wait to go to Rick Owens. And then I meet Rick Owens, get some Rick Owens on. He like, damn, that was smart for you to buy them. Like shit like that, like just always showed me like, damn, so Paris, so if y'all want to hear who I am and y'all haven't got into it yet fully, just play Escargot, play that shit front to back. You're gonna love it. It's amazing music. Sound like James Bond. Shout out my mom again. You feel me? So it's like, man, masterpiece.
And you have so many other projects, man. I wish we could get into it. But shout out to Aesthetic Raps, Summer's Over, Cafe, Gallery. We could even talk about the B word.
Come on,
that intro track, I love that track. And if y'all really peeped it, if y'all really a Billie Essco fan, y'all peep that's the song we used in our video for with Neff in it. So definitely check it out.
UPTOWN.
Tifa, it's fire. Shout out to Mitch Arizona too.
Produced by Mitch Arizona.
But yes, this is beautiful. Thank you so much, Billie Essco, for talking to us, letting people get into your life and know who you are. Round of applause, y'all.
Yeah, this is fire.
Round of applause.
That made me
Are y'all
feel
ready to
cool.
see him perform? We talked about the music. All right, y'all gotta get lit. Y'all gotta get a bit more
Let's get
energy.
it. Yeah,
Y'all ready?
Yeah, let's get this right. Yeah,
We got
let's get
Billie
this.
Essco in the building.
Where in the world is Billie Essco? Where in the world is Billie Essco? Where in the world is Billie Essco? Look. Last night a show in DC, I stayed an extra night, smoking outside the Chanel store, reflecting life. I was everything before everything was cool, and then times changed like the moon. And you could tell by the shade of the shoes that it's June. You could tell by the shape of his music, got views. You could tell by the pape that he spin, this ain't new. Money so foreign, this ain't blue, this a zoo. Style different, who are you? Margella down to the who's, keep it steppin', nigga. First class ultra, what I'm reppin', this ain't separate, nigga. 2023, we dropping cafe records.